Chinese are definitely hoping that the people in Washington work this out. Even the Chinese premier has been weighing in on the U.S. debt ceiling debate. On the sidelines of a summit here in Asia, the Chinese premier Li Keqiang was speaking with the Secretary of State, John Kerry, and said that Beijing was paying great attention to the goings-on in Washington. Now, the Chinese officials have been voicing their concerns about what's happening in D.C. There was one official earlier this week who said that the clock is ticking and that the U.S. really needed to safeguard China's investments. As you guys had said, China is a major shareholder, a major holder of U.S. Treasuries. It has $1.3 trillion in U.S. T-bills. And what's really interesting is the way it's been playing itself out in the state press, because a lot of times when Washington has a misstep, that gets played up in the Chinese press. But this time, the reaction is much more muted. You see that the government it appears that the government is sensitive to the public opinion here, because over the past couple of days, there's been quite a bit of public anger online about what's going on in Washington. But a lot of that anger is not directed at Washington, but it's actually directed at Beijing. There are many people who have been questioning the government here and asking, why Beijing have you put so many of our eggs into one basket? Guys?
Question.
It's a great question.
Yeah, I guess the question would be, or the point that the government there might make, is where should they put it instead? Do you find a more stable market somewhere else? I mean, the U.S. has been the safe haven, and it just so happens that China has a lot more money to plow into a market than anybody else does.
Well, that's definitely true. And so if you talk to, but a lot of people on the ground don't really understand that. In terms of whether or not we're seeing any sell-off or anything like that with U.S. Treasuries in China, I was calling a lot of people just because I was curious about this myself. So far, we haven't seen any signs, but a lot of the bond traders that I've been talking to said that they are sensing jitters, and they've been pointing at some of the data that came out of Japan recently. Some of the data out of Japan showed that Japanese investors have been selling foreign bonds at record levels last week, and also just a couple hours ago, the Hong Kong Exchange issued a statement. Oh, yeah.
No, I was just going to say real quick, is this headline news? I mean, is this front page news in China right now, or is this still back burner? This is it. This is a biggie.
No, it's front page news. It's front page news. Yeah, it is a biggie, but the way it's playing itself out is really very, very straight. And the sense is that the government doesn't want to draw criticism itself for having so much of its own money in U.S. Treasuries. But one point I just wanted to bring up with this, what happened in the Hong Kong Exchange, they issued a statement saying that they're valuing U.S. Treasuries lower. They are now going to apply, they said, a haircut to the valuation of U.S. Treasuries that are used as collateral. So the bond traders I was talking to said that is already a sign. You're starting to see an impact, people getting more nervous out here about what's happening over there.